Hello guys, so in this video we will work on implementing the Places API, or you can say the Place Autocomplete API, where when the user wants to search any destination location, then it will start displaying the suggestions of the places for which the user is searching. So that we will implement using the Place Autocomplete API. So you have to go to the console.cloud.google.com, which is the Google Cloud Console. Okay, by simply typing this URL it will redirect you here. Then you have to make sure that you select your project from all, and then click on API and services, and then click on library and search for the API which is by the name Places API, this one which is called Places API. Okay, click on it and simply enable this. So it has been enabled successfully. Now the next thing is, if you click on enable, you will see Places API is enabled. So the next thing is, go to Google and simply search for the Place Autocomplete Google API, and it will show you this one which is called Place Autocomplete Places API. Click on this, or you can come here directly by typing this URL, okay, which is called Place Autocomplete. Now go to your project, and what we need to do is, here on our select destination page we will implement a method here by the name search place, or you can say search location. We give it name search place. It will receive one thing as a parameter, and that will be the text which the user will type inside the text field here. Okay, that text. So that text, it will be received here. Let's give it name as user input. And for the future reference, you can add a comment here: Places API Place Autocomplete. So first of all, we will make sure that the user input, that is the user types something, so we will say the length. If the length of it is greater than 1, then start suggesting the locations or the places coming from the API, of course, which we are implementing now. We will give it name as Places API URL. Inside the double quotes we will add the URL for the Place Autocomplete. If you scroll here, you will find out this one. Okay, we need up to, let's copy this whole, then we will remove the extra keys from it. Okay, so just copy this and come back to the project, and inside the double quotes you can simply paste it like this. Now of course it contains some extra keys which we do not need, so let's proceed step by step. So up to here, make sure to remove this extra space. Input equals to the user input, so we can simply say $user input and location, this one. We do not need this one. Okay, just remove this. And also we do not need the radius, remove it as well. Also the type we do not need, only we need the key, which is the Google Map key. So we can say user input and key equals to $Google Map key. Now to make it more specific, you have to write here the component. For example, at which country specific places you want to search. So country based, for the country based you have to write and components, COMPONENTS, components equals to, and equals to the country, then colon, and write your country short form. For example, go to Google and simply search country shortcode and open any list. It will contain these two words, short two words. For example, for any country you can search. Let's say if you are from Argentina, it is AR. If you are from Australia, it is AU. From any country you are, you have to type your country short form. For example, in my case, I will go with AE, United Arab Emirates. In your case, you have to go with your country short form of your country name. AE means Arab Emirates, okay, United Arab Emirates. In your case, let's say if you are from any country, then you can simply take the short form from here. For example, if you are from Vietnam, let's say for Vietnam it is VN, and so on. So please follow the same steps, and then you can say variable response from places API, and we will send request to our places API. So we can say Google Map methods dot send request to API, and the API is places API. So the request is sent, then the response will come from the API, which will be assigned to this response from places API variable. Then if the now you already know that send request to API is the method which we implemented here in our Google Map methods class, okay, which is for sending request to API, okay, and then the response, that is if it is successful or if any error occur, then it will return us this keyword error. So I hope you remember that. So that's why specifically we have to first check if it is equals to error, that is if the response coming is error, it means no response came from the API, and simply return from here. Otherwise, if the response from API, now according to the documentation, okay, the response which is coming from the places API autocomplete, here is the example, okay, that is for the response. So here we have this important status for which we have to check. If it is equals to okay, it means the response comes successfully. So we can say if the response from API, if the status of this become equals to okay, then simply we have to take the it will bring the predictions, okay. For example, if you check here, it brings us the predictions. They have given the example here. For example, if the place name the user is searching, let's say Paris, then for the Paris we will have the first prediction, second prediction, third prediction, and so on, okay, according to that. So we have to get that predictions. So we can say get that predictions from the response, and we are going to assign this prediction. You know that this prediction is in JSON format, so we have to convert it to normal format. So first we assign this JSON predictions to this variable, and we have to convert this prediction which is in JSON format to normal format. So for that purpose we need to create a model class using which we can do that. So right click on model, new .file, we can give it name as prediction underscore model. Now according to the documentation, that is the information which we want to get from the JSON is place underscore ID, main underscore text, and secondary underscore text. That is, with each prediction we have main text, secondary text, and the place ID, as you can see. So we have to get that. So that's why we use the same names for it here in our code, and then with the help of the constructor you can say this prediction model map string dynamic, the key name is in string format, and the value can be in dynamic. So as you know that the response is coming in JSON format. For example, the place ID is in JSON like this, place ID. So we get from the JSON, that is the place ID value we get from JSON, and we assign it to the variable place ID. We get the place ID value from JSON, assign it to place ID. Then same goes for the other one, like the main text and secondary text. Now in case of main text and secondary text, you know that it is inside the structure formatting. We have main text, then structure formatting, secondary text. So that's why you can see. Okay, so once it is done, we have now access to convert the JSON to proper normal formats, that is through its variable, through its attributes we can access directly. So as the response come in JSON format, so using our model class, what we can do, we can say prediction result in JSON as list dot map. As we have multiple prediction coming from the API as a response, so one by one we will pick each prediction. So we can say each prediction, or you can say each predicted place. One by one, each predicted place we will convert to proper normal format, which we can do using our prediction model class by calling prediction model dot from JSON, passing the each prediction place to it one by one. So what we can do is we will initialize here a list of prediction model by the name drop of prediction places list. Initialize it as an empty list. So now as we have the predictions, that is one by one we convert each predicted place from JSON to proper normal format. So each results, when it is converted from JSON to normal format, we will assign it to a variable and we will call it prediction result in normal format. Okay, and once we have it, then set state, and what we can do is we can assign this prediction result in normal format to our list. Sure to write here dot to list. Now this list contains the predicted places. So as we have the predicted places, now we can simply display it on the user interface. So first of all, let's call this method and then we will display it on the user interface. So you know that destination text field, here we can say unchanged, which simply means when the user start typing in the text field, then we will call the method which is search place, and we will pass the user input to it, just like this. So the input which the user type here, it assigned to this user input, and that user input we pass to over this method, for which the places will be predicted and the response will come from the API. And as you know that response we get, we convert it to proper normal format and we assign it to over this list. So now let's display it on the user interface. So what we can do is, after this card widget, let's add a comment, that is display prediction results for destination place. So first of all, we will check if the drop of prediction place is list, if the length of it is greater than 0, then start displaying, which we will implement the UI inside this padding widget. Otherwise, else, if the length is 0, then display nothing but an empty container. That's it. So let's display it. We can say padding symmetric child list view dot separated item builder context comma index return card widget, elevation will be 4 child. Now here we will implement the UI on which we will display the predicted places information. Before that, let's complete the item count, that is the total number of predictions coming from the API as a response. So you know that it is inside our list, which is drop of prediction places list. Then shrink wrap true, physics will be clamping scroll physics, and also we want to display a divider after every predicted places. So for that we can use separator builder build context int index. So one by one, after each prediction place we will add, you can either add a divider, that is a line using the divider widget, or you can add some space after each predicted place. So we will add space of height 3. Now let's create a widget. So right click on widgets dot file. We will give it name as prediction underscore places underscore UI. Import the material dot create stat list widget. We will give it name as prediction places UI. It will receive one thing as a parameter, and that is basically the response from the API which we are receiving. So prediction, using prediction model, we can say prediction model predicted places info, or you can say data. This dot predicted places data. So we will say return elevated button, since the user has to choose any place from the list of available predicted places. So that's why we are adding elevated button, or we can say the click event on each predicted place. Apply some style on the elevated button, color white. Then we can say child size box widget, first we will display some space, then row widget. Inside the row widget we will have a icon, share location, and then some space, then expanded widget. The predicted places name can be long, so we will wrap that inside this expanded widget so that the remaining text will be converted to dotted form. Anyways, let's complete it quickly. So we can say text widget predicted places data dot main text. Overflow text overflow dot ellipsis, which I already told you guys, that is if the predicted place name is too long, so in order to fit it on the user interface and to avoid the error related to the UI, we first wrap our whole widget inside the expanded widget, and on the text widget we apply overflow text overflow dot ellipsis, which means that it will convert the long text to dotted form. It will display some part and the remaining text will be converted to dotted form. Then apply style font size 16, then some space, and then we display predicted places secondary text. So this is all about our UI. Now with the help of it we can display. So we can say prediction places UI, prediction places data, and pass the data one by one from our list using its index number. Now let's install the app on our phone. So the app is running now, and now if we go to the search destination, let's search for any place, and you can see we start getting the result. If you write one word, then the length, as you know, length must be greater than 0. So let's say I'm searching for another place which is called Burj Khalifa, you can see, and it starts showing the suggestion, okay, starting from BUR. So you can see Burj Khalifa, Burj Man, Burj Dubai, Burj Al Arab, Burj Al Hospital, and so on. You can search, as you can see.